President Bola Tinubu's 6-month emergency rule in Rivers State, suspending Governor Siminalayi Fubara and state lawmakers, has drawn sharp criticism. While the National Assembly supports it, Nobel Laureate Professor Wole Soyinka described the action as excessive, asserting that it contradicts the spirit of federalism. Similarly, former President Goodluck Jonathan has criticized the recent declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, describing it as a clear abuse of office and power by the executive, legislature and judiciary.
Meanwhile, many notable Nigerians continue to condemn the role of the former governor of Rivers State, now the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, has played in the political crisis in Rivers State. Human rights lawyer Deji Adeyanju, while speaking on the issue, accused the FCT Minister Wike of repeated betrayals. Adeyanju alleged that Wike's political maneuvers are primarily driven by personal interests, leading to the betrayal of key political figures, including former President Goodluck Jonathan and former Rivers governors Peter Odili and Rotimi Amechi.
Now joining us this morning is human rights activist Ann-Kio Briggs. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us, ma'am.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan did say that he initially didn't want to speak about this, and but it was imperative that he spoke about it because a number of people in Rivers State were looking up to him to share his thoughts. Let's get your thoughts on his position and what he has said about the situation in Rivers State.
Definitely, he has put it in a perspective that can be understood even by a primary school student, where he said very clearly that you cannot wake up somebody who is pretending to be asleep. Now, that surely means that this thing has dragged on for too long. And from the moment it started, we, the Rivers State Elders and Leaders Forum, called on him, not because we think only him can solve the problem, but because he's the president of Nigeria. It doesn't have to do whether he's APC or PDP. And because we of Rivers State know very, very clearly what our state is, what the people want, and what this can lead to in Nigeria, we've been saying that if this is allowed to deteriorate, that it will affect not only Rivers State, it will affect the whole of the Niger Delta. And this is not a threat, it's a fact when we say that anything that affects Rivers State negatively will affect Nigeria economically, simply because Rivers State is one of the states that is holding up Nigeria economically, whether they want to admit it or they don't want to admit it. Therefore, to find ourselves in this situation for over 1 year, where the president is constantly imposing positions that he would never have accepted as the governor of Lagos State, because Obasanjo tried to do it to him, did do it to him, and he expects Siminalayi Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, to accept it. And he expects the people of Rivers State to accept it. He, the president, was voted for just the same way the governor of Rivers State was voted for. Now, looking at the legalities, lawyers are talking. People who understand the Constitution, people who understand the laws of Nigeria are saying that it is the wrong action for the president to have taken after Pandef had gone to meet him. He sat down with Pandef and listened to what Pandef had to say. With so many other positions that was given to him, I was one of the delegates in that meeting, and some other Rivers indigents that are so-called supporting the FCT minister. I see no reason why he needs support. He's not the governor of Rivers State. He's a minister. Now, his supporters also were invited. They refused to attend that meeting with the president. And after the meeting, the president proceeded within a couple of days. And I noticed during that meeting that something was seriously amiss. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I noticed it. And immediately after the meeting, within 5 days, the governor of Rivers State, the deputy governor of Rivers State, and the issue of the lawmakers that the Supreme Court went into when they had no business discussing it, had already been suspended. Now, people are saying, people who understand the law are saying that it is illegal, it is unconstitutional, and that actually the law, there is no part of the Constitution that recognizes the imposition of the person that they have imposed on the people of Rivers State while they have suspended the governor of Rivers State. Now, I want to caution, because this is a rumor, and where there is rumor, there is something. This is a rumor that the sole administrator, so-called, is planning to appoint sole local government chairman. There is no way, any way he has a right to appoint anybody or anything in that local government. Money has been released to him. We even want to know how the money was released to him without going to court, and why the money was released to him, and how much, in fact, was released to him. It's our money.
Thank you very much.
We have a right to know.
Like you rightly said, madam, it's still a rumor at this point, and there's nowhere in the Constitution where the sole administrator will have the power to appoint local government chairman. But you said many things, many very poignant things in your submission. You said Rivers State is holding up Nigeria economically, which is a fact. And the presidency has argued that as a doctrine of necessity, they could not treat a Rivers State like the other states in the northwest and northwest that have witnessed Boko Haram attacks and banditry, because there are economic angles to this. So therefore, as the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, he couldn't just sit idly by. He has intelligence reports we're not privy to, and allowed the situation to descend into chaos. That's why he took that anticipatory step to forestall a breakdown of law and order by imposing a state of emergency. What do you make of the presidency's submission, using that as an argument? What other options could the president have taken?
First of all, I mean, the president should contain himself within the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, full stop. There is no empowerment that allows him to step outside of the 1999 Constitution. He's not a military ruler. So you cannot set aside the Constitution, which is a working document. Whether some of us want a new Constitution or not, that's a discussion for another time. But the issue of doctrine of necessity. Look, what is the meaning of during Jonathan's time? There is nothing like doctrine of necessity when there is clarity within the Constitution as to what ought to be done in any situation, whether it was in Jonathan's time, when it's very clear that if a president is incapacitated or resigns or is not capable anymore of governing, then his deputy takes over. Now, that doctrine of necessity was not necessary. That doctrine of necessity is not necessary today. And that is why the deputy governor was illegally suspended with the governor. Because if, let us say, the governor of Rivers State travels out for a period of 1 month, he has to hand over by law to his deputy with instructions on what to do. Now, you cannot say that you are also suspending the deputy governor. You're now taking away the guarantee for Rivers people by the Constitution that if the governor is not there, the deputy will take over the affairs of the state by by suspending the deputy governor, you have also taken away the rights of Rivers people to be governed at every time by the people that they have elected. We have not elected a sole administrator. Now, the president, if anything happens for any reason, and he's going away for 2 months, will he take the vice president along with him so that Akpabio, the president of Senate, can now become a sole administrator, or that then Akpabio can appoint a sole administrator from Akwa Ibom, for instance? No. It is being shown over and over again that the president was wrong in the way that he began right from the moment to treat the issue of Rivers State. The key player in this issue is the Federal Capital Territory Minister. He is not the governor of Rivers State. We cannot have two governors in Rivers State. And when I hear they had an agreement, for crying out loud, you have no right. There is nowhere in the Constitution of Nigeria where it says that an outgoing governor will appoint another governor, and in the method or governance of that state, he wants to be a third-term governor of Rivers State. The Constitution does not allow for it. And in any case, both himself and the constitutionally elected and democratically elected governor of Rivers State should now tell us what agreement the former governor mean by they had an agreement. What agreement did they have? To sell Rivers State? There is no, look, all this is about is the money of Rivers State people. And the time has come for Rivers State people to say, our money cannot continue to fly out of the state, given to people who have crisis. If there is a flood in another state, Rivers State money must be in there. Are we a charity? We're not a charity. Must we support every governor, every president with our money? No. If you want to run for presidency, you bring out your own money and do what you want with it. Why must Rivers State hold up the whole of Nigeria constantly? Is that what God created us for?
Seeing as you've brought in Nyesom Wike into the conversation, let's stay there for a bit. There are many people who have criticized the manner in which the former governor was handled, the manner in which the FCT minister was handled. What do you think should have been done to Nyesom Wike in all of this?
He should have been suspended at the very least, along with the people that he claims that he's fighting. Don't forget that if you recall the media interaction that the former governor of Rivers State had with the media after Pandef had left the meeting, he insulted Pandef along with what the president did to us by keeping us waiting for almost 2 hours. He insulted Pandef, which included people like Dieter Spieth, people who were governor when he was a primary school teacher a primary school student. He attacked a whole ethnic nationality. That's hate speech. That is hate speech. That who are we? Who are the Jaws? What is the meaning of our language? What is the meaning of Asawana? And the president is allowing all these things to go on. This was what happened in Rwanda, where a people were constantly being barraged and undermined and dismined, if you like, by another section, a particular voice, until the people were attacked. And if the president does not recognize this as something that he has to cut off. Look, if you have employed somebody in your TV station, and every time the person is on duty, your system is sabotaged constantly, you will still keep that person on and say, oh, he's a good person. What is this? What have we done?
At what point do you think that?
I mean, the whole of Rivers State. Let me make it clear again. This is not an ethnic issue in Rivers State. It's not an ethnic issue in Rivers State at all. All ethnic nationalities are in support of the governor of Rivers State. It is the FCT minister that is bringing in and insisting that he must bring in the issue of ethnic nationality.
All right, I just wanted to quickly chip in.
People of,
and I'm glad that you've explained the ethnic angle to it and how it really isn't an ethnic issue. But I want to quickly go back to what you said earlier, that at the very least, the FCT minister should have been suspended alongside other people. Now, some people have argued that he should have been suspended much earlier before this. Do you share same sentiments?
Yes, as a matter of fact, not only should he have been suspended, the president, if he really has the interest of Nigeria and the interest of his own office and the interest of the economy of Nigeria, anybody that stands in the way, anybody that will generate their personal interest to the point where it becomes a problem for the president. And the president is now seemingly to us in the Niger Delta a participant in the crisis that is going on in Rivers State and in the crisis that it is seemingly now generating in the Niger Delta. Because if you now see, it's not only Rivers people that are condemning, people that have nothing to do with Rivers State, lawyers, eminent leaders,
yes,
people like Wole Soyinka, who even are supporters of the president, are saying that the president was wrong. If everybody says that you are wrong, why do you think you're right?
Now, Madam, looking at the current state of things, the sole administrator, Vice Admiral retired Ibas, has resumed office. He did have a sort of short interaction with the media a few days ago. He visited the complex, the ongoing construction of the State House of Assembly. And if you do recall, the National Assembly, while declaring the state of its support for the state of emergency, which it has through a voice vote, said a panel will be instituted. They suggested having a panel of eminent citizens of Rivers State, and I believe you will be part of that panel. Do you think in 6 months' time, given this panel and everything that is happening with the appointment of the sole administrator, peace between the warring gladiators, Fubara, the Wole camp, and the FCT minister, this crisis would have been resolved? Because this issue is basically among the three of them, and like you rightly said, have nothing to do with the ethnic nationalities in Rivers State.
Let me say this. The body language of the sole administrator that has been appointed in such a manner that everybody is saying it is wrong. If you look at the way that it was approved, if you look at what the National Assembly did, if you look at people like Tamboa, so many people are saying that they didn't have a quorum. So basically, it is right to say that the sole administrator is illegal. He is not known to law. That is one. His body language is telling us, I'm a Rivers daughter. His body language is telling me that he believes that he has come to stay for 6 months and that he is actually the governor of Rivers State. He's not the governor of Rivers State. We did not appoint him. We did not vote for him. He's not the governor of Rivers State. Now, having said all those things, I don't really understand what the sole administrator is trying to do, or the National Assembly is actually trying to do, apart from they think that they can extend these 6 months. Because in the speech of the president, it was alluded that this is just like, let us see how it goes in 6 months. That's the understanding that I have. So therefore, maybe if it gets to 6 months and the president, for some reason, is not satisfied, he can now doctrine of what necessity. There was no crisis. There was no crisis. There has been no crisis in Rivers State, except the time in October 2023 that they tried to impeach the governor, Fubara. Now, the president also said that the governor that had the state assembly and that he's doing nothing to rebuild it. I mean, with all due respect, that is so untrue. That is so untrue because the sole administrator took a tour of what Siminalayi Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, is building to replace what was brought down for the reasons that it was brought down. And already it is 80% finished. When the sole administrator was there, he alluded to the fact that within, by the time it's 6 months, this will be finished and that they can go back to work. Well, they cannot. He cannot make such a promise because they are under suspension. So you can't. If he's saying that, then why is he not also saying it to the governor and the deputy governor? That within that
but the
space
Senate
of time,
President,
that it is likely
the Senate President did say,
to work.
the Senate President did say when the National Assembly came out of a closed session that this state of emergency will not exceed 6 months. Senate President Godswill Okpabio, does that give you any sort of assurance?
No, it does not, because even Okpabio is another player in what is going on in his actions of what is going on in Rivers State. He was determined to approve the state of emergency and the suspension of the governor and deputy governor and for now the speakers, the members of the state assembly. Now, if he is so involved and he did what no voice, there was no provision for voice, yea or no. We need to know who voted, who didn't vote, who was there, who was not there. Other senators are saying that the way it was done is wrong. So whatever the Senate President did and is saying about what happened in Rivers State, it is illegal, just as well as the action of the president has a constitutional right in the provision of Section 305. But the reasons where that can happen were not met. There was no crisis in Rivers State. The Rivers State is peaceful, is quiet, people have been paid, nobody is being owed money, civil servants have been promoted. You cannot say that a state like Rivers State is in crisis. Even the owners of the so-called pipeline that was used in the governor's in the president's speech, the owners of the pipeline are saying that nothing like that happened to their pipeline. So if that is the case, where is the crisis that the president is referencing that made him to make that decision? Why did he not tell Pandes, who were seeking peace and reconciliation between the governor and the FCT minister? Why did he not tell us on the 11th of March when we met with him that he is in the process of making up his mind to do something drastic, as he did earlier on by giving 2 pieces of paper to the governor of Rivers State to sign? We object to that 2 pieces of papers, as well as we're still objecting to that. And we're saying that there must be a review, there should be a review as soon as possible, because the crisis is not abating. Just because the governor of Rivers State has been suspended and the deputy governor and the state assembly members, all the three, all the arms of government, if you like, has been suspended, and you brought a military man to come and militarize Rivers State in a time of peace in Rivers State and in Nigeria. This is a democratic, at least this is a democratic dispensation according to the president, who claims to have fought for democracy. Now, I am asking the president, is this the style of democracy that he actually fought for and left Nigeria for on exile? Is this the democracy he fought for? If this is the democracy he claims to have fought for, it is the wrong type of democracy, and we don't want this type of democracy in Rivers State. We want true democracy where we have voted for someone two people, a governor and his deputy.
All right.
And where we are
let's talk about the pipeline explosion.
And
let's just quickly touch on the pipeline explosion. There's been another one at Soku oil facility operated by the NLNG. We don't have full information as to what might have caused this explosion and if it's linked to the current political crisis that is happening in Rivers State. Do you have concerns about pipeline explosion? Do you have concerns about the security in Rivers State? And do you think this may be linked to what's going on in Rivers State?
I started my journey in issues of equity and justice in 1998 in Niger Delta, for the people of Niger Delta, for justice and equity. Now, I have always been concerned about pipeline blow-ups. I've always been concerned about the environment, and I should be, because I am a victim of the repercussion, the health repercussion of the devastation of the Niger Delta region by the oil companies. So yes, I am concerned. Now, the owners of this facility should come out and tell the people of Nigeria exactly what happened, what was done. Because saying that there is a pipeline has been blown up and that it is associated to the crisis of Rivers State is unacceptable to the people of Rivers State. And we should not accept such narratives. I do not accept the narrative. I condemn that narrative. If truly pipeline has been blown up, we should hear what happened, where it was blown up, when it was blown up. We're hearing Isoku, how was it blown up? We should have information. But to sit down for people in government, to sit down in Abuja and now say that this is linked to Rivers State is opening up, is calling a dog a bad name to hang that dog. Because already the Attorney General of Nigeria has recklessly accused a governor, a sitting governor of a state, that he is directly teleguiding explosions in Niger Delta, as a matter of fact, because it's not only in Rivers State. Now, if that is the position of this government, then we totally, not only do we disagree, we do not accept it, and I think it is oppressive to put that responsibility on the people and the government of Rivers State, that any pipelines have been blown up for over close to 30 years now. So to say that Fubara, who has been a governor for only 2 years, is now responsible for what is happening is unacceptable to anybody in Rivers State. They should go and do investigation and come and tell us how the pipeline was blown up.
Finally, madam, before we let you go, because we'll be doing you a great disservice if we don't give you a chance to talk about a pathway to peace. Now that many people have opposed, there's a widespread opposition of the emergency measures in Rivers State. To you, what will be a pathway to resolution and peace, lasting peace in Rivers State? If you can, in less than a minute, please. Thank you.
The president, right now, where we are, the president is solely responsible for it. So, number one, the president should review his declaration of state of emergency. Nobody is God, so everybody is open to mistakes. If he was wrongly advised, and I believe that he was, I could be wrong, but looking at the key players in what is going on in Rivers State, he has been wrongly advised, and his strategy that he has been advised to take on is wrong. So he should retrace his step. Nobody is infallible. If he says he has made a mistake, he has made a mistake. But this 6 months is going to be problematic. And the sole administrator also should be very cautious in the way he speaks to traditional rulers, our people, and the way he is going about handling our people in Rivers State. This is not a military dispensation. He is a retired naval officer. He cannot come and reactivate his military training in Rivers State because the president of Nigeria, who is democratically elected, says that he should come and handle Rivers people like a soldier. He is not a soldier. He is not a brigade head or a general in Rivers State. He is so-called sole administrator, and I hope that this will be resolved very quickly and that it will not drag on, and they will bring our governor out of suspension. We want him back. He's our governor. We voted for him, full stop.
All right, we certainly want peace in Rivers State, whatever it will take for the people of Rivers State to not just feel peace, but to feel democracy as democracy should be. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning, ma'am.